and welcome to Real Cooking at Home. Today we're doing some real good comfort food, something we hadn't had in quite a while. Today we are doing a chicken pot pie. Now I do my chicken pot pie a little bit different than a lot of people do, because what I do is I roast my chicken off. So what I've got here is just some legs and thighs, and I'm going to roast it off in the oven. Now I'll put this with some olive oil, salt, pepper, and garlic powder. Really easy. I'm throwing it in a 375-degree oven until the chicken is nice and good and roasted. Now we're not going to use the skin in our chicken pot pie, but I left the skin on there so we could nibble on it. Come on back and we'll get started. Okay, it's time to start our pot pie. The chicken is out of the oven and it is cooling, and let me show you what I got to start. I got about 1.5 cups of frozen peas. I always buy frozen peas. They're just as good as fresh, and even in the summertime, if you buy peas fresh, you just got to shell them. I don't mind shelling peas, but hey, frozen's just as good. Now, right here, I've got 1 large onion diced, and I've got 2 carrots that I've peeled and diced up. I've also got the celery here, and all that's about the same size so it cooks evenly. Now right here I've got fresh out of the garden parsley. Right here I've got some thyme and some rosemary. Now this is dried. I'm gonna, and we'll talk about that in just a second. I've also got 2 bay leaves, about 1/3 cup of flour, 1/3 cup of butter, some chicken stock, some heavy cream, olive oil, and some puff pastry for our top crust. I'm preheating this pan right here. I'm going to drizzle it with olive oil, a good coat of olive oil, because right now I'm going to take and throw in our vegetables, and I'm going to get those to sauteing down till they're just before soft. And then we'll talk about everything else that we're going to need. But while I'm doing my vegetables, since I've got dried thyme and dried rosemary, what I want to do, if I was using fresh, I would put this in fresh at the end right before it went into the oven. But since we're doing dried, I really want all the flavors to come out of these dried herbs. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in with my vegetables and give that a chance to toast on up as we saute down our vegetables. Also to this, I'm going to add in just a little bit of salt, about a teaspoon, and about a teaspoon of black pepper. And I'm just going to saute these down, and we'll come back and show you how to put everything together. Alright, our vegetables look really good, so we're moving on to the next step. I'm going to take this about 1/3 cup of butter, and I'm going to toss it in and get it melted down. Now essentially what we're doing is building a roux here with the butter and the flour. And I'm going to tell y'all something about a roux real quick. Roux have different stages. When you're making a gumbo, you want a good dark roux. Give that rich flavor. When you're doing something like this, you're building what you call a blonde roux. And all we're doing is going to just cook the flour down till that raw flour taste is out, and that'll make a good blonde roux. And a blonde roux has more thickening power than a dark roux does. So there's the butter melted. I'm going to take and throw in my flour and get all this stirred in and cook that raw flour taste out of it. This is going to go for about 2 minutes. Alright. And that's good. Now, I'm going to add in my chicken stock. Just like this. Now, that's about 3 cups of chicken stock. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this up to a boil. Once it starts boiling, I'm going to reduce it down to a simmer and let it simmer real good for about 15 minutes. And I'll come back and show you what that looks like. It'll be real good and thick. Alright, now this is cooked down. It's so thick and I wish y'all could smell it. Okay, I'm taking out my bay leaves because I put the bay leaves in when I put the rosemary and the thyme in. And now this is ready. Y'all, I wish you could smell this. It smells so good. So right now, I'm going to take my chicken. Now, I pull this chicken off the bone, and I cut it into bite-sized pieces. And y'all, roasting your chicken off helps so much with flavor. Because I season the chicken, and it stays so moist and so juicy. So the chicken's going in. My flat leaf parsley, that's going in. That was just a small handful. About 1/2 cup of heavy cream. And y'all, you could use more heavy cream if you wanted. So we're going to stir this together. Throw in our peas. And I defrosted these peas. Just like that. And now everything is in. I'm going to give it a taste for season. Because this is when you want to taste it for season. Because you really want everything to come together season-wise before you put it in the oven. That way you know your finished product's going to be delicious. That's wonderful. So let that cook for about 10 more minutes. And we're going to put it over into our casserole dish. Alright. Now Wayne has rolled out our pastry dough, just like this, just so it'll cover this pan. And I've greased the bottom with a little bit of olive oil. I'm just giving it a good brush, just like this. Not a lot. You just want to brush the sides. Now I'm going to take and make an egg wash so that we can wash the top of our puff pastry and also the side of our pan so that our pastry will stick to it. Now y'all, our filling is gorgeous. So I'm going to take our filling and pour it right over in our casserole. Just like that. I'm going to take our egg wash that I made and I'm just going to wash the sides with the egg wash. This is so that our puff pastry will stick. Outside. Our puff pastry is ready to put over the top. Now what you want to do, and y'all, this is real thin, tender, lay it right over the top, just like that. Make sure it's touching your stuff and just crimp the edges down. Now if you've got a little excess right there on the bottom, just trim off the excess. And I crimp everything to
Fold
the
up
side.
the edges so they feel good. Extra puff pastry.
Look at that. Just like that. We're going to take and cut some slats in it so that steam can escape. Just like that. What I'm going to do now is just take my egg wash and I'm going to wash the top. Just like that. Sprinkle of salt. Just like that. Sprinkle of pepper. Give a good flavor to the top. Now into a 400-degree oven for about 20 to 25 minutes till it's golden brown, and we'll come back and taste. Okay, our pot pie has been out of the oven for about 10 minutes now. We've let it cool, and it's time to taste. And y'all, I can't wait. Now, there's no pretty way to do this, so I'm just going to try to get some of this crust here. Oh, that gravy. It looks amazing. Some of this crust. Big, huge chunks of chicken, vegetables. Gosh, it's hot. Hot. Y'all, the puff pastry with the salt and pepper, season that just good. You can taste the thyme, the rosemary. The gravy is fantastic. Make you some crusty bread to dip in that as well, because that puff pastry is not going to be quite enough. But y'all, until next time, make this chicken pot pie. Just y'all get in the kitchen and cook. We'll see you next time.